I guess you're all probably really sick of CES videos at this point, but this is going to be a very condensed video where I just talk you through my opinion on the stuff and kind of what trends we should be expecting in PC hardware over the year based on stuff being announced at CES. There was going to be a different video today, but I kind of screwed that up. I had two other video ideas that fell through over the course of the week. One of them fell through because I may have slightly broken the thing that I was doing a video on. But yeah, no worries. We have this video. It's gonna be really fun. So let's get into it. Now there's the obvious big one, which is AMD's continual domination of Intel. I mean, at this point, they're just bending them over a table, and yeah, it doesn't seem consensual anymore. They announced a 64-core, 128-thread CPU. It's gonna launch pretty soon. It's gonna cost $4,000, but it's crazy powerful. Rumor has it that this is actually the CPU that powers the sentience behind HAL 9000. That may actually be a bit of an old reference. Maybe my younger viewers won't get that. It's like the sun in the Teletubbies, like this powers it. So it's pretty badass. Again, $4,000, so don't know how many people are actually gonna buy it, but it's a great Halo product. I'm actually more excited about the mobile CPUs. I think they're more interesting. Again, this is an article on Extreme Tech's website. Hopefully you guys don't mind me using your article. I'll have it linked in the description below. So these CPUs are really exciting. I think that was one of the big shortcomings of the AMD Ryzen lineup, was their kind of like their mobile CPUs. They were decent, but now they've got like an 8-core CPU that's really badass. So they actually have a 15-watt, 8-core, 16-thread CPU coming out for laptops. So that's really exciting. Apparently Asus laptops are going to start using them. Yeah, so this is the really big one. But there was actually another article, which is quite exciting. I don't know if this was specifically announced at CES, but this was posted really recently. EVGA is bringing out a $280 version of the RTX 2060, which is like, why has this not happened sooner? If they dropped the price a little bit more, it would have been even better, but still, this is really screwing over the RX 5700 XT. You know, after how exciting the 5700 XT and 5700 was, the 5500 XT and the 5600 XT, they're just not that exciting. So this was a bit of a disappointing AMD CES announcement. But okay, let's move away from this stuff. And then there's the very exciting news that the PlayStation 5 is gonna be called the PlayStation 5. So no one really saw that coming. I find it really funny here that they said they still have to announce the biggest differences between the PlayStation 4 and the 5. I hope so. I hope the only difference isn't that they just added a 1 to it. I'm fairly excited, but I'm skeptically excited about the launch of this console. Hopefully it's going to be pretty cool. Xbox is also coming out. You know, a new console generation is always very exciting. The thing that I find the most exciting about it is that, you know, the fact that they're going to introduce or potentially introduce things like ray tracing with the new consoles means that it's probably going to be more mainstream for PC games as well, because the console generations is what really pushes, you know, new development, because that's what everybody develops for. So that's pretty cool. Now, as far as cases go, there seems to be a very interesting trend developing, which is everything's moving to this kind of mesh front, which is really exciting. I think a lot of people will welcome this change. And I'm using Kid Kuru's website here. They have quite a nice presentation of just like PC gamer related tech news. It's not only Fantex, but Coolermaster is also introducing a lot more cases with the mesh front. I feel like they've been doing that for a while, but that seems to be one of the big trends when it comes to like PC cases in 2020, and I think that's going to be a welcomed one at that. And then Coolermaster announced this case, which is an M80X case that looks pretty cool. So yeah, there's a little bit of stuff for us M80X lovers out there. I'd love to get my hands on that case. Intel also announced some stuff. Most of it was really terrible and boring and no one cares about. But this is a first look at their actual discrete GPUs. This is not a gaming GPU. They say here that it's like a software development vehicle. So yeah, according to a tweet by OzTalks Hardware, we should be expecting about RX 560 level performance with this card. But again, it's not a gaming GPU. This is something that, you know, you use to accelerate like GPU intensive uses, work-related things. As you can hear, I don't know much about working on a PC. As far as Nvidia goes, they have this very bland article about what they spoke about at CES, but they announced a 360Hz display. I don't really know if I care about that though, because I can't honestly tell the difference between 100Hz and 140Hz. I don't know if I'm giving too much away about myself here. So 360Hz is a bit hectic, but you know, it's subjective. Some people may actually be very excited about that, but you know, they are pushing the envelope with this kind of stuff. I think one of the coolest monitors that's being announced is the Acer Predator X32. It is a $3,600 monitor, so I will never get my hands on one, but it's a 32-inch 4K high refresh rate monitor, which I think makes more sense than a high refresh rate 4K 27-inch monitor. And hopefully, Nvidia releases some new GPUs this year and AMD that can kind of deal with this monitor. It's gonna have 1400 nits brightness, which is crazy bright. I don't know if that really makes sense on a desktop monitor, but that's still, it's these specs are really crazy, and you know, if Acer wants to send me one. What's quite exciting about Asus's announcements is that they are actually moving to the new Ryzen like mobile CPUs on a lot of their gaming laptops, so that's really cool. I think that's gonna be pretty game changing. They've got more monitor tech. They've got one of these huge gaming TVs, basically. Those look really cool, but you don't really see a lot about them around. They also have a lot of stuff that no one cares about. But over here, they were talking quite a lot about their ELMB sync technology, which is like their mixing ultra low motion blur, which is like a backlight strobing technology with G-Sync. So apparently that's pretty game-changing. That's quite cool. And Republic of Gamers also announced some cases, which doesn't seem to be on this article. Let me go find it. So they announced this massive mini ITX gaming case. Hardware Canucks actually did a video on it. It looks pretty cool. Like, they slanted the motherboard and stuff, so that's gonna be crazy. It is very expensive. It does have serious Republic of Gamers tax on it. But yeah, I'm quite excited about a lot of the cases that have been announced. Lee actually announced like a small version of the O11 Dynamic, which, let's see if I can find that article here somewhere. Here, TweakTown has an article on it. Look at how cute that is. It's a pretty big mini ITX case, but I really like the idea of this. I'd like to do a build in that case. It looks pretty cool. And then Alienware announced essentially a Nintendo Switch. I can kind of see them getting sued by Nintendo for this, but it does actually look pretty cool, especially if it has like Nvidia Shield functionality built in. Like, I think this would be a pretty cool mobile gaming thing. It is going to be very, very expensive though, because it's Alienware. And then Alienware also announced a dual screen laptop that looks like this. We've seen laptops like this before, and I don't know how well that idea works. Like, I don't know if I'm entirely sold on that, but if they can integrate it properly with software, this could be really cool. Talking about TVs, 8K seems to have been a really big deal. Samsung announced this terrifying 8K behemoth thing with like no bezels. This looks like a really cool TV, but it's gonna cost a huge amount. One of the things that they said is that it's going to have very good upscaling, which is going to kind of help deal with the lack of 8K content at the moment. Which, I mean, how much 8K content actually exists? Sony announced one, TCL announced one. Yeah, people are really excited about it. Yeah, so LG announced this foldable TV, which is pretty cool because it means it can kind of like leave your space if you don't want to have it in the way. It's also got this huge kind of speaker bar in the base. I think this is cooler than the 8K TVs in my opinion. But I mean, there's a very clearly super rich guy in an Eames chair, you know, looking at his TV like that. So it's clearly not for poor people. Like, you can see that guy has never interacted with a poor person before. So yeah, this is all very expensive stuff, clearly. So with that, I mean, Yeah, there's not a huge amount of gamer-related news at CES. That's actually one of the reasons why I don't mind that much that I wasn't invited by anyone. Like, I'm pretty sad that I didn't get to go to CES. I feel a bit left out. But, you know, most of the technology was TV related and like robot related. There were a bunch of sex toys and stuff, which is, you know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so it wasn't really a gamery event. I think Computex is much more oriented at people like us that want to buy stuff. But if you want to buy a $4,000 Teletubbies CPU, yeah, you can do that now. You can do that. That's pretty exciting. With that, it brings me to the end of a fairly pointless video of me talking about some tech. Yeah, I will be taking next week off. I have a video that I'm going to post on Friday next week, but there's not going to be 2 videos next week. And then when I come back the week after that, I'm going to get into the new schedule of every Wednesday and Saturday posting higher quality content. So hopefully you can bear with me through the pretty rocky start to the content in the new year. But yeah, I'll be streaming later today as well, so you can come say hi if you want to. I'll have that linked in the description below, along with all of my other social media. And until the next video, bye-bye.